Hello there. Oh, all this? Oh, don't mind me. Just peeling all of these apples before dinner tonight. What occasion? Why, for Allantide, silly. Haven't you ever celebrated Allantide before? Oh, I see. I've heard of Samhain before as well. I apologize if I've spoken out of line or if I should be preparing the castle in some other way. Oh, Allantide? Well, you see, like Samhain is a festival, celebrated this time of the year by many families and villages in the area. Although, admittedly, from what I understand, Samhain is a foreign festival that isn't native to this culture, whereas Allantide has been practiced here since the foundation of the villages centuries ago. Allantide is also known as All Hallows Day, a feast celebrating the incoming winter season and the end of the warmer months. Traditionally, shops would display Allan apples. Oh, Allan apples? They're these large, highly polished apples. The kind that you'd imagine a witch cursing in a storybook. On the day of Allantide itself, these apples are given as gifts to each member of the family as a token of good luck. Older girls would place the apples under their pillows and hope to dream of the person whom they would one day marry. A game is also played at Allantide using apples. A sort of reverse apple bobbing. To play, a wooden cross piece is nailed together and 4 apples are hung from each end. Candles are secured on the end of the wood. The idea is to grab the apple with your mouth without getting splashed with hot wax. It sounds pretty unpleasant when you put it into words like that, I suppose. But I promise that it's all in good fun. But there's also a less tedious game called Snap Apple. My brothers were quite fond of that one. To play, a single apple would be hung from the ceiling on a sturdy string. All of the boys would gather beneath the suspended apple, leaping as high as they could, while trying to take a bite out of the apple. The first boy to actually take a bite from the apple was believed to be the first in the group who would marry. However, his future spouse was not revealed by the game, leaving all to wonder whom the lucky future spouse might be. Oh, there is also the tradition of throwing a chestnut into the fire. We do this to emphasize our desire that the 12 months ahead will be full of good fortune. Formerly, the tradition was that if the chestnut popped in the fire, then you would be expected to die in the next 12 months. But I suppose that might be a bit too gruesome for modern times. So the meaning has been changed to be more accommodating, I guess. Another favorite tradition involves melting metal until it's a liquid and throwing it into very cold water. When it cools, the metal makes a shape that is different almost every time. It was thought that the shape could predict the future, possibly showing an unmarried girl who her future husband might be. The shape of the metal was said to show the future husband's job. So if the metal was shaped like a fish, he might be a fisherman. If it were shaped like a brush, he might be a road sweeper. And so on and so forth. A silly little game, but fun to play nonetheless. Me? Oh no. I was never much one for the games involving romance. I was always too busy anyway. Being one of the eldest siblings, I was often in charge of preparing the food for the celebration. Oh, and children and women would dance around a village fire, writing their names on rocks and placing them in and around the flames. When the fire started to die out, they would all run home as fast as they could, because if they stayed out beyond the dying flames, the headless woman in white and the tailless black sow would devour their souls. Don't worry. That particular legend is just a story told by the village parents as a means to ensure that the children would return home safely and as early as possible. There was even a little rhyme for it. Home, home on the double. The tailless black sow shall snatch the last one. The following morning, all the stones containing villagers' names would be checked. If, however, a stone was missing, the person who wrote their name on the stone would die within 1 year. People also tend to avoid churchyards, stiles, and crossroads, since spirits are thought to gather there on that night. So anyway, I've prepared a special meal for the two of us to enjoy together this evening. Please, relax by the fire on this beautiful night. I'll call you once the food is ready.